There's a therapist in the UK, his name's Mark Tyrrell, and he uses a technique called reframing. And in his technique of reframing, it's learning how to understand our weaknesses may actually be our strengths. Understanding that the things we think are holding us back, the things that are clouding our minds or filling our hours with angst and worry, those self-doubts, anxieties and fears, when reframed, become our greatest strengths. And I believe that that's one of the basic tenets of the Tao Te Ching as well. Of course, Mark Tyrrell is probably in his mid-40s, and the Tao Te Ching is 2,500 years old, so perhaps there's something to be said in the Tao, having had legs to be around all those years and be translated into between 2,700 and 3,000 different languages over the centuries. The Tao teaches that power comes through cooperation. That's not what I thought. The Tao teaches that the sense of self comes through selflessness. I thought self came through stuff and money. And that a sense of independence comes through service. I thought independence came from money, not having to worry about money. Well, how happy has that made you? How self-confident are you? I would put forth that when we find ourselves in a place where what we've been doing hasn't delivered on our goals, that we try something different. It takes some time to start to think about enhancing the self through selflessness, independence through service, and power through cooperation. It takes some time to start to reframe so that we can consider our weaknesses our strengths. It takes a motivation to change the way we think and behave. Apparently we have about 50,000 thoughts per day go through our head. And every day it's the same 50,000 thoughts. What if we could change those 50,000 thoughts? What if the 50,000 thoughts of a Buddhist monk were going through our head every day? Would that change our life? You're darn sure tootin', yes, it would change your life. Because once you change the thoughts that are going through your head on a regular basis, if you only have 50,000 thoughts a day, and today you change 10 of them, and tomorrow you change 20 of them, and next week you've changed 40 or 50 of them, and slowly but surely you start to change those thoughts in your head, well, guess what? Your life is going to change. It can't not change. The Tao teaches that principle and process the how and the what is all there is. And that tension arises from not understanding how natural law works. What we do is we strive to explain that in a way that can be understood and acted upon in a tangible way. You can't really make change if no one understands what you're talking about. If you speak in complicated terms and people sit there and scribble down notes, and at the end of it they look at their notes and they say, wow, that was great, but I don't know how to apply it to my life. So at the Tao Te Ching Institute, our mission is education, and to educate you one little bit at a time, always coming back to the basics. We take complicated things and we come back to the basics. And when we do that, complicated things seem much simpler. We want to teach you the how things work. And once you get a grasp on that, once you start to learn that maybe thinking these backwards concepts is actually the path to happiness, the path to content, the path to becoming a greater self, to achieving your goals. Once you come to that place, then you'll be able to make those strides in the right direction. You'll be able to do the things and think the thoughts that build you up. You'll be able to stop the behaviors and the thoughts that are dragging you down. And amongst that training, we encourage compassion and forgiveness. Not for others, but for yourself. You need, and I need, and everybody needs to be a little bit nicer to themselves, to be a little bit more forgiving, to be a little bit more compassionate. When you make that mistake again and again, learn to recognize it. Learn to forgive yourself for making that mistake or thinking that thought. Be compassionate. Be forgiveness. Show forgiveness. And guess what? After a while, it just stops happening. Oh, it comes back, but it'll be coming back less and less frequently. And when it does, you'll recognize it. And when you recognize it, forgive yourself. Remember that your goals are set to stop it. Laugh about it. And move on. There's lots of ways to approach any single thing, but the first thing you need to do is take the first steps. Identify the behavior, show yourself compassion and forgiveness. When you notice you're doing that thing, tell yourself to stop it and move on. Once you start practicing that, you'll see things begin to change. It might be slowly, but things begin to change. And guess what? We'll change one thing today, we'll practice it, and another thing next week, and another thing the week after that, and the month after that, and the year after that. I've been doing this practice now for almost 7 years. And I can tell you what, it was a long, slow process, but I did start somewhere. I took that first step. And now I'm 7 years down my journey, and I've got a long way to go. The Tao teaches that we're all a process, that the same principle underlies my process the same way it underlies your process. So you and I are operating under the same principle. We're both a process. which makes us part of the same whole, part of the same unity, part of the same Tao, the Tao that underpins everything that happens. So once you understand polarities and how they work in the natural order of things, you can experience true happiness and eternal energy by being obedient to the natural law, the natural order of things. We want to help you take that first step. Let us know what it is that you want. Write it down. Start making a plan. Have a goal. And come study the Tao Te Ching with us and learn how things work. Thanks for joining me today. See you again soon.